Tonight on Trent Kill Radio, can't you trip like Uncle Al do? David Draiman and Roger Waters are feuding because fucking whatever, and Tommy Lee gives a big middle finger to Courtney Love because she wants it like that. All this and more coming up on Trent Kill Radio.
People will bow to it.
What's going on, everybody? This is Trent Kill Radio, sponsored by the Foundry Concert Club and Fantasy Entertainment Complex right here in Cleveland, Ohio. I am your host, Sean Ryan.
And I am Jimothy.
He is Jimothy.
I am.
Let's just take this time out for you guys just to subscribe.
Do it!
Okay, so as usual, we have a ton of shit to talk about, so let's just get into it right now. No more fucking around.
A little fucking around.
A little fucking around. There's going to be a lot of fucking around.
I wouldn't say it's a good news week, but it's an interesting news week.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's just start off with Uncle Al Jourgensen of the band Ministry. He has a new bass player, the original bass player of Tool, Paul D'Amore.
I think D'Amore.
D'Amore?
Yeah, D'Amore.
You know I don't speak Spanish.
Okay, so Paul has joined Ministry now. He is going to be the new bass player, and they are going to be going out on a European tour very soon. So if you are watching from Europe, look out for that because Ministry is fucking badass. There are very few bigger badasses than Al Jourgensen. That guy has every hepatitis. Literally, admittedly, every hepatitis known to man.
I'm afraid you are the sickest man in the United States. You have everything.
Right, A through Z. The letters don't go that far, but he still has them.
He is patient zero. But yeah, so like Paul has joined Ministry. There's a bigger story to that. Uncle Al Jourgensen, how he actually met the guys from Tool, and this is back dating like 1992, I think, right? From Lollapalooza.
No, there's only one festival, and it's
The US Festival.
The what festival?
It was sponsored by that guy from Apple Computers.
What computers?
Uncle Al had this story he was telling Revolver about the first time that he actually met Paul and the guys from Tool. And he goes on to say this, quote, I used to live with Timothy Leary. Timothy Leary, if you guys don't know, is a well-renowned psychologist, and he used psychedelics as a therapy. And he was like testing these things out. So like he had a lot of like LSD and shrooms and acid and ecstasy and all this kind of stuff as like a mental therapy. But whatever, that is not the point. Al says, I quote, I used to live with Timothy Leary, and he had given me these bottles of liquid LSD to bring on tour. I put 2 drops in my bottle of whiskey that I'd bring on stage, and I drink about half the bottle during the show.
that right there. Holy shit.
I'm totally tripping balls. I'm totally tripping balls.
So we're at Lollapalooza in 92, and I think it was San Francisco, and when we came off stage, there was these 2 guys who were like, great show, dude! And so I gave him my bottle of Bushmills. And I forgot that I had put in LSD because he was probably on LSD. And so they drank it, and they were tripping balls for like 2-3 days, and were about to call the suicide hotline. It turned out to be Paul and Maynard from Tool. But he actually thanked me for that moment because he said it really got Tool going into being a psychedelic band. Pretty cosmic, bro, right?
Right. It's like, yeah, that's cool. But is that also the reason we gotta wait like fucking 15 years for a new Tool album?
What are you waiting for?
You!
So yeah, that is the moral of the story, is that Too Long didn't read.
TLDR.
Al put a bunch of LSD in his whiskey, and then he gave it to 2 guys from Tool that he found out to be Tool. They tripped like super hard.
Right.
2 or 3 days.
I hope I didn't brain my damage.
But then, you know, a good thing came out of it, and the psychedelic aspect of Tool kind of came out of it. You know, that's what you guys can credit to Tool, I guess.
Right, and I guess that built a relationship because now Paul is with Ministry.
Next story we got, and man, I just, God, I don't care about this story.
It's one of those things because it's so fucking politically rooted. And
I know. Let me preface this by saying that we are not a political show. We are not at all. I don't care. But this is something we have to cover because it's in the news and it's rock and roll oriented. So I'm just, fuck you.
Well played.
Jim, take it away.
Go fuck yourself, San Diego. Go fuck yourself, Earth. Anyways, So Disturbed is currently on tour, on an international tour, and they're going to be playing their first show in Israel in July.
July 2nd.
July 2nd, correct. Frontman David Draiman, who is, for those that don't know, is actually of Jewish descent, as you know, he's very vocal about that publicly, and he has been commenting on the political issues that are in that region. You know, the Israeli-Palestinian.
I know, if you guys are under a rock, Palestine and Israel that are right next to each other hate each other.
They're right on top of each other. They're fighting over common land.
It's like a street you can't even cross, or otherwise you're condemned by your people, either side.
Right. So if you don't know, go read a fucking book or a wiki.
Do you know what's happening in Israel? Oh, well, okay. There's a war on terror, Charlie. Have you ever seen CNN?
So David Draiman has been commenting recently on political turmoil occurring within the region with a video interview called Bring Disturbed to Israel, where he actually calls out Pink Floyd's Roger Waters and, quote, the rest of his Nazi comrades, stating their beliefs from the stem of hatred as the Israeli culture. So, two people, politics aside, I'm not rooting for either Roger Waters or David Draiman.
They both annoy us equally. You stink! But David Draiman, during his interview, he went on to say, quote, to elaborate a little bit on this, besides just my aggressive stance against it, the reasoning that no matter what side of the fence you sit on politically, and look, I don't think anybody in any country always agrees with everything their country does. I don't, but I'm very, very strong supporter of Israel forever and for our people. And regardless of whether it's Israel or anywhere else, boycotting an entire society and an entire people based on the actions of its government is absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous! And it doesn't accomplish anything. It doesn't accomplish anything. I cannot stress that. No. That's good. That's good.
Doesn't accomplish anything. Roger Waters is supporting the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement, or the BDS movement, which is basically...
Not the BDSM.
Bring on the Flugelkampfheimler!
lightweight. I mean, have you seen David Draiman? I mean, look at that man. So the BDS movement, which Roger Waters is supporting, is basically an Israel and Palestine issue.
Roger Waters doesn't want anyone playing in Israel because it supports some oppression over Palestine and the feud that goes on between them. And David Draiman is like, all right, so the government, whether you are for the government or not all Israelis are like that. So, I mean, we should build bridges rather than tear them down. And
right, it doesn't really have anything to do with them playing, and it's more about the specific movement itself, though.
Again, we're not political.
Right, it's stuff we don't dive into regularly. It's basically understanding that there's basically this movement. All right, if you're a fucking history nerd, a lot of people are making it akin to apartheid, with South Africa in the 90s, in the early, 70s, 90s era. Racial discrimination, things like that.
Yeah, so Draiman's all like, you can't accomplish anything in terms of trying to create peace, in terms of trying to create understanding by shutting things off. There has to be open roads of communication. The vocalist continues, you build bridges, you don't knock them down. And music and entertainment is a perfect way to bridge the gap. And the very notion that Waters and the rest of his Nazi comrades decide that this is the way to go ahead and foster change is absolute lunacy and idiocy. Absolute. End quote. Dude, God damn it, I don't care.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
It's exhausting to care about this shit. I mean, it's real world issues, but
we have enough problems here as it is. We just want to play some rock and roll, man. Come along, people now. Smile on your brother. Everybody get together and try to love one another right now. And that's the end of that bullshit. Whatever. Third and final story, we have Tommy Lee and Courtney Love. They are... and not in a sexual way.
He's not today.
Not today. Well, he's married now. But that's his fourth marriage? Third? Fourth? But this is really Courtney-based. Courtney Love from Hole. She is one.
That woman was a slutbag whore who flashed her shit all over town like she was Sharon Stone or something.
Tommy Lee is fired back after Courtney Love had said some things to Interview magazine disparaging the movie The Dirt, which is the best thing I have ever seen on Netflix next to Riverdale.
Right.
Fight me.
If you watch that and you don't like it, you just don't get it.
Yeah. It was a different time, man.
Right.
It was fucking wild. That movie was great. I loved it. I loved every fucking second
There's a lot
of
of people talking. It's like, yeah, it's misogynistic. Well, of course it's fucking misogynistic. It was the fucking 80s.
Dude. Things were different.
Do you want historical accuracy, or do you want to fucking cater to people's fucking...
I know. You want the dirt to be PG?
Right.
No. But Courtney did a question and answer with an interview magazine and blah, 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 blah. Love was asked to name her favorite thing to do with her girlfriend. She responded, I quote, I recently had 3 girlfriends over. I recently had 3 girlfriends over and we sat on my epic Majorelle Art Nouveau bed. All right, for one, just... What?
What?
Shut up! We were laying on a bed, okay? All right, whatever. And my Rolfer came over to do this thing. Rolfer is a fucking masseuse. My Rolfer, blah, 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 blah.
I don't say blah, blah, blah.
They were just getting a massage or something.
Right.
And we watched the dumbest Netflix film ever called The Dirt. It's so stupid and vile about women, it's just fucking dumb. It was super fun to groan together. We had jasmine tea, and we all got our bodies worked on and watched this white rapper named Machine Gun Kelly, and we just made jokes. I was just like, when's Ozzy gonna snort the ant? And then within seconds, Ozzy had snorted the ant. And then Nikki Sixx's character was like, quote, I have new girlfriend. She's sweet. She's wonderful. And I was like, her name was Heroin. 2 seconds later, her name was Heroin. And I was killing it.
Dude, those animals are so fucking funny!
So basically, Courtney was just being a bitch.
Right. It's like, oh, no shit. Okay, you know the history of the biopic you're watching, and you're calling it as you see it. Good job.
Yeah.
Captain Obvious.
She complains about Nikki Sixx doing heroin, but hello, husband. Weird fucking fact about that. You know what Kurt Cobain used to do? Heroin. Yeah. Oh, not so goddamn high and mighty, are we?
Fucking look at that woman. Tell me that woman hasn't done that.
She's beat.
I've been clean and sober for a fucking year, so all these drug jokes are, retarded. Jokes.
Word got around, and Tommy Lee had found out about it. After the news of Love's comments made the rounds, Lee took to Twitter to slam the musician and actress, she used to be, writing, quote, hey, Courtney, when's your movie coming out? Oh, wait, never.
Oh, you remember my wife, Courtney Love? Who?
And, weird little known fact, Courtney and Tommy, they've... Wait,
Wait.
Excuse me. Sorry.
We had some makeup sex in a dumpster out in the back of Wendy's.
Yeah!
Historical accuracy is what we talk about on this show.
You got a hot dog to whip down that hallway?
So, she's got a lot of nerve, but, I think she is rumored to be getting back getting back her whole together. but she's rumored to be getting whole back together, and they're gonna do whatever, maybe an album or a tour or something like that. So she's just trying to be as relevant as possible.
It's just a reach.
Yeah, big
whole,
reach.
Getting whole back together.
Yeah,
whole is taut and malleable, and it's coming back together.
So you can only stretch it so far. And that is all the time that we have for this week's episode of Trendkill Radio. We are a weekly show, but please be sure to like, subscribe, share the video. Our Facebook page is in the description of this YouTube video, unless you are watching it on Facebook. If you are watching it on Facebook, just go subscribe anyway. Go to our YouTube page.
We also have an Instagram now.
Thank you all so much for watching. We appreciate it so much from the cockles of our hearts. I am Sean Ryan.
And I am Timothy.
And this is Trendkill Radio.
Bow to it.
Right.
I make wine in Arizona. What, you didn't know there were mountains in Arizona? Douche.
The grapes gotta struggle, goddammit. It's the only way they thrive.
If you can read and you're not dyslexic, subscribe.
That sign doesn't mean anything to me because I don't know how to read. Well, it ends with an R, so unless it's one of those weird things where you add, sounds that don't exist in the
Like the English
Letters?
language,
Right? No,
wait, is Roger Waters is against?
The point is they're both terrible in every way you can imagine. But more specifically, you said cock.
Turn on Tranquil Radio. Can't you trip like Uncle Al do? It's so ridiculous. What was the next story? Oh, David Draiman. David Draiman is just in the fucking news with Roger Waters because they have nothing better to do. And Tommy Lee. God damn it.